Hi students, welcome to virtual class of Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai. I am Sreekumar. The class is for 8th standard students. Subject is mathematics. Let me begin the class.
Dear students, this is a revision class on parallel lines and transversal, a very important concept, and highly application level concepts are coming in the next session and next year, even in 10th standard. A fundamental basic concept in geometry. This is going to be revised in this video, and please remember the concept and whatever points are to be remembered very clearly, not only for the coming exam but forever. Okay, let me go a little quickly as it is a revision class. You studied about parallel lines and transversal in the second lesson of your textbook, and where the concept of parallel line otherwise also very clear to you. Parallel lines are those lines which will never intersect. That means they will never meet each other. It is just like a ladder, the two poles of a ladder which will never meet, which I had shown in the last video. There are parallel lines in window pane, that was also showed in the last video. Parallel lines ultimately in your mind should remain in such a way that they are two lines at any state or any moment equidistant from each other. What is meant by that? The distance between the two lines in any situation, in any position, will be always same. This is the distance between two lines, I mean. Take it here, take it anywhere, always it will be equal. Such lines are parallel lines. Please remember that. Okay, that is one point you should remember. And let me go further. While going further, we will come. Let us go further. The other concept, parallel lines, then the other type of line, intersecting lines. That means they will intersect or meet. That means it can be like this. There will be a point of intersection between two lines, or it may be such that the distance between the two lines are not same as shown before. Here you can see at one end it is, they are very close by, right? Here it is, they are very close by. Here they are far away, and we are quite sure that on extending this further they are going to meet, intersect. They are called intersecting lines. You are very clear about it. Intersecting lines can be in any position, in any direction, and the distance between them can be in any format. So intersecting lines are otherwise also called non-parallel lines, or also the same intersecting lines are. And these are intersecting lines once again. And if you think about this kind of non-parallel intersecting lines, and think about a line across it, further intersecting them, and we named such lines as transversal. Transversal will be intersecting minimum two lines. Here it is intersected, here it is intersected. If two lines are there, we'll say they are intersecting lines. If a third line comes and intersect both the lines, we have named it as a transversal. Understood? Transversal will intersect, if intersect two lines, and you studied about number of angles formed in that. You studied about it. Very detailed study was done about intersecting lines on a transversal on intersecting and parallel lines. We found that angles are formed on this kind of situation. And the angles formed, we named them also. When the angles formed on the same side, like this, these angles on the same side of the transversal, this is the transversal, we named them as corresponding angles. We named them as corresponding angles on either side of the transversal. This is a transversal, these were on the same side. These are corresponding angle, one here, two here. This again, one here, two here, one here, two here, one here, two here, the same position on the same side. Sometimes the angles which are, if these two are parallel lines, an angle over here and an angle over here, we named them as these two angles as alternate angles. Alternate angles. There can be alternate angles here also. There can be alternate angles here also. There can be alternate angles here also. The point over here is, whenever two lines are intersected by a third line, that line is called transversal, and transversal create, if it is two lines, at least 8 angles. And these 8 angles are named depending upon their position as corresponding angles if they are on the same side, alternate angle if they are on either side of the transversal. If they are within the parallel lines, in between the parallel lines, those angles, then we have named them as interior angles also. So my dear students, we classified the angles formed by a transversal when a pair of lines are intersected by it into 3 categories. One category called corresponding angles. The second category named as alternate angles. And third category named as interior angles. This is explained with the help of non-parallel lines or intersected lines now. I will be explaining the same with the help of parallel lines. That is main topic of your textbook. Please wait. Now the most important concept of this chapter, parallel lines and transversal. We found that transversal is there for non-parallel lines also. For parallel lines, transversal is more important. Why? Because they have specific concept related to the angle formed by that. As I told you already, 8 angles are formed, and those 8 angles are having specific locations. For example, these are a pair of corresponding angles. If I name it as A, this is another set of corresponding angles on the same side. If I name it as B, this is another set of corresponding angles. If I name it as C, and this is another set of corresponding angle. So corresponding angles are formed. How many pair? A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. That means 4 pairs of corresponding angles are formed. And we found that these corresponding angles are congruent, equal. Which are equal? These two are equal. A is equal. B is equal. C is equal with C. D is equal with D. Corresponding angles which always lie on the same side of a transversal. Same side of transversal. Remember, my dear students. Corresponding angles remain on the same side of the transversal. Let us think about other things we studied. First was about corresponding angle, just now I told you. And if you think about these corresponding angles, there are 4 pairs and they are all congruent and the same side they are. Angle which are on either side of the transversal, are named as alternate angles. They are named as alternate angles. Alternate angles, as already told, are on either side of the transversal. Which are they? Here is a pair of alternate angles. Let me name it as A. Here is another pair of alternate angle and they are equal also. Here is another set of alternate angle. Here is another set of alternate angle. What is the peculiarity here? Alternate angles are angles on either side of the transversal. There I wrote same side. Here I wrote either side of the transversal. Here A is congruent to this A on either side. B congruent to this B congruent. We have proved it in the last video. C is congruent with this. D is congruent with this. So here also 4 pairs of alternate angles are formed and they are congruent. It doesn't mean that each one is congruent with the other. The pairs are congruent. There are 4 pairs for congruency. Please notice that among these A and B, I have marked inside the parallel lines. This one is outside the parallel line. So the one which is inside is called interior alternate angle, which are outside are exterior alternate angle. So what are they? There are interior alternate angles A and B. There are exterior alternate angle C and D. A is having another angle congruent with A, B is having one with it, D is having one with it, C is having one with it. So 2 pairs of interior alternate angle, 2 pairs of exterior alternate angle. Everything proved in the last video. You should watch the last video to feel good. After learning, this is what is there to be kept in your mind for further study. That's why I'm revising. Okay, let me clean the screen. Okay, my dear students. Let me go further. I have to explain about another kind of angle which are named as interior angles here. I use the word interior and exterior with respect to alternate angle now. Now, what about these 2 angles? Both are interior. These 2 angles, interior. When I named this as A and A, they were alternate angle. This time I am naming it as A and A alternate there. These 2 are B alternate there. I am thinking about A plus B. Sum of interior angle, and they are supplementary. This also we proved. This is a revision video. Supplementary means 180 degree. A plus B is 180 degree. Interior angles formed when a transversal is there on a parallel line, they are supplementary. They are supplementary. It's a property of parallel line. Okay, so you learned about these important properties in this chapter mainly. This was the main aspect of the chapter, and I was just revising it because it is very important. So we have a clear-cut idea about the 8 angles formed and naming of them. Certain angles, only 8 angles are there, 4 pair of corresponding angle. The same 4 pairs, when rearranged, it became alternate angle by name, then interior angle. These concepts should be very clear to you, my dear students. Very clear means extra clear. And this is a statement from your textbook. When 2 parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, the angle formed in each pair of corresponding angles are congruent, alternate angles are congruent, interior angles are supplementary. This is what is learned from parallel line and transversal mainly. There should not be a single student who couldn't follow these statements and how it looks like and what is the matter, without which further learning will be very severely affected. That's why I'm stressing on it. On the other hand, we can say the opposite. If a transversal intersect at two lines and it found that the corresponding angles are congruent, we will say that the lines are parallel. Or if alternate angles are congruent, we will say that the lines are parallel, otherwise they will intersect. And we will say that if interior angles are supplementary, then lines are parallel. Understood? So the lines are parallel only when interior angles are supplementary. The lines are parallel only when alternate angles are congruent. The lines are parallel only when corresponding angles are congruent. We are using the learned knowledge, understood knowledge in the opposite way. Understood? So this is one of the main aspect of this particular lesson. Another aspect is to draw a line parallel to the given line. Now you know what is parallel line, transversal, and the angles formed by the transversal. This is slightly different from a practical activity in your textbook, which I would like to once again show over here, because this is about parallel line. To draw a parallel line to the given line, I have already drawn a line for you. I have to make a parallel line to this. The method at this stage, that is in 8th standard, is using set squares. It's very simple. You can have your set squares from your compass box. You will be having two different type of set squares. I have only one type, so I will take two such squares so that I can use it for the purpose. And the matter is that we will use the set squares in such a way that we will keep it on the given line of which we have to draw the parallel line in such a way that one of these will be kept over here. Turn it in such a way that it remains exactly on it. Bring the other set square. You will be having two set squares. The other will be having slightly different shape than this. In my case, both are of same shape and size, not a problem. Keep it in a line with this. And what to do? Keep it like this. And slowly, with care, you can push this second one up. Set squares are made with angle, right angle, meeting each other. Touching you will move, and for you it will be easy. Why? Because your set square will not, one set square will not climb on the other one. In my case it happens. And draw the line. Draw a line here. Please bear with me. Okay. So this line is parallel to the given line. How can we say that? And is it true? Yes, it is true. Why? Because I will tell you. I can take scale also, but I am doing it because to save time. See, these lines, because of following reason, they are parallel line. The distance between any two points on this parallel line, they are equal, right? If you find out this distance between them, they are equal. So it is parallel line. Second reason is that if you draw a line from here, it will be vertical line, and you can see that here it is 90 degree, here it is 90 degree, total is 180 degree. So these two lines are parallel. This way we can draw parallel line to the given line. There are more scientific mathematical methods which you will be studying in further classes. So my dear student, this was my humble attempt to revise the chapter parallel line and transversal practically from my side. Practically from your side means you will be doing each and every question given in the textbook again and again, so that you will be very thorough with the concept. Clarity of concept is very important in mathematics, without which you cannot further understand what is told by the teacher and by the textbook. it should not happen with you. Thank you.
Now click on the subscription button below to subscribe the channel, then the bell button to get the notifications of the new videos. Thank you.